Yes, man. I want to see Icon. Icon is here, man. So, ladies, we have things to talk about. We excited. I'm excited. We have things to talk about. The big man is here already. So, let's introduce all you to one of my favorite person. Yeah, man, Mr. Icon. John, Mr. Gary, good night.
What is saying, King? Enough respect, everything blessed.
Icon.
Boy,
We
been
want
a
to see
while.
Icon.
Yeah, boy. Camera a little
Yeah.
crappy, but we're making it
Yeah.
work still.
Yeah, we work with it. We work with it. I hear you good. Everything nice. Everything nice, man.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Old
Thanks.
school MacBook Pro.
Hey, once it work, it works, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Definitely.
yes. So let me introduce you guys to this fella here. I saw him on Facebook one time when he had the volcano eruption, and I was like, I like his vibes. I like his energy. So when the eruption, I wanted somebody to do some stuff for me in St. Vincent. And I reach out to this brother here, and we get some stuff done for St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So big up yourself one time.
Respect, King. It take a good heart. It take a good heart to do what you do too, brother. Trust me. Because a lot of people just leave the show sometimes and they forget about home, man. So enough
Oh,
respect for that same said way, is it?
yeah, man. This year is 30 years I'm out here, brother.
Yeah, man.
I don't see
That's almost my entire existence, you know.
uh, it make me feel old all of a sudden. Yeah,
Ah,
man.
boy.
So when we say Gary Icon John, just give people a little summary of who you are.
Boy, I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a uncle. I'm a youth man from country who loves music. Basically, you know what I mean? I grew up in a extended family, in a household with my grandmother, my grandfather, uncles and so forth. And I was basically the child in the family who used to be from house to house. So I spent a lot of time growing up with my cousins close to me like siblings. So everybody in the family basically knows me now. I was the family rugrat.
you,
You could
the
call it that.
handbag. The
Yeah,
handbag.
I
By the
been in
pocket.
every household. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
man. Yeah.
I am from country. I started school in Georgetown. Went to the Rainbow preschool out there. Lived on Bay Road for a while. Started primary school in Langley Park at the Langley Park Government School. Then transferred to CW Prescott, then to prep school, then to Evesham School, then went on to the St. Vincent Grammar School. And that is because of all the moving, as I said, from household to household. Because for a period of time in life, my mother wasn't living in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So I used to be living with relatives. So with all the moving, you change school. But I went straight to grammar school and went to the community college. Did a year, just 1 year, started doing law, and then ended up doing music. Because we got opportunity, a talent search, one of several wins over the years. Big up to the rest of my hard knock family. Eggy B for you, Menace, D Fresh. We had a group in school and we used to enter these competitions and we used to always win like first, second, and third. So on that win, it was a high science shine talent search. The deal was you got some money and you also got an opportunity to record 2 songs. I recorded the 2 songs with Great T, which is Zoe Stapleton, and then he challenged me, telling me, "Oh, you could only do that, you're not more soca." And that was the genesis of me doing soca with the first song Coconut. So that's where it started.
That's how it started. So
Yeah.
I know you as an activist. I know you as a radio personality and an artist, right? Do you think you're misunderstood?
Sometimes. Sometimes. Because some of the comments I would hear people make, they expect me to be a particular type of way all the time, and they don't understand that I'm not a one-dimensional person, and I like to look at things from a holistic perspective. Put myself in other people's shoes. I try to live good, and the best way to do that is to actually try to see things from others' perspectives, because what they're going through on a daily basis might be foreign to me. I have no clue. My life might be totally different to them. I might have comforts they never experience, and likewise. So I try to always look at things from other people's perspectives and not disrespect anybody now. Try to live as good as possible. Treat people how I would like to be treated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So couple months ago you did some videos
Yeah.
speaking out about a lot of stuff you're speaking about, but the music industry. And did you get any backlash on that?
Not really, I got some clarity though. I got clarity. A lot of it brought clarity when it came to who was responsible for certain things. Because sometimes when you're in a situation, you don't really know who the players are. It's not till after the fact when you recap, you get to really understand who the true players were. So what used to happen, and some of it still happens today, is that there were groups and camps in the music industry that were proactive at pushing certain artists. And there's nothing wrong with that. Everybody could have camps. There are camps in every country. Like there's Alliance, there's Gaza, there's Gully in Jamaica, and so forth. Marshall Montana would have his camp. Bungie Garland and Fair Lions would have their camp. The Vikings, you know what I mean? So there's that. But the problem I had with it in St. Vincent and the Grenadines was the toxicity that came with it, and that it was even driven from a systematic standpoint, whereby radio stations would tell you, and certain DJs would tell you they cannot play your music because you're not a part of this camp or that camp, or you're not signed to this producer or working with this producer or that producer, or you're not paying. DJs would tell you, this man pay me to play his music and pay me not to play yours. So if you want your music to play, you had to pay me. That make no sense to me. So that was where
Wow.
my problem came in.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I could see the frustration as a as a young artist. Then, so you mean you had a lot of fight down then?
Well, it wasn't only me, but it affected me differently because at the time I was, well, till now, I'm whatever I do, I'm doing it out of pocket. So I didn't have no sponsor from no Flow, no sponsor from no DGCell, no sponsor from no, you know what I mean? None of these entities that usually used to sponsor artists back then. But then it had artists who used to get sponsorship. You understand? Who being, in my opinion, a part of the foolishness. And it's not me speculating. It's DJs approach me telling me these things. It's having conversation with people who are involved in the foolishness at the time. And they're bringing it to me like, okay, well, it's either get with the program or forget about music. I had to say to a DJ, well, all I could keep it. And I just back off. I just left it because it didn't make sense to me. And it would have lead to a whole different set of issues. And I can't, I don't do the drama. I just can't.
But you know the funny thing though, some people still want to pretend that there's no gatekeeping, there's no gatekeepers. Well,
For,
we know there's gatekeepers out there.
well,
We know that.
the thing is, up to today, I saw a post on Facebook, from a producer called Ranks, right? And the post was speaking like about payola. In a sense, it was speaking about payola. I can't remember exactly what he said, but it stuck out to me because I was like, but this is something that has been taking place for quite some time. You know what I mean? This is something I used to speak about in the mid 2000s that affected a lot of people's careers. And people used to wonder why this one stop sing, why that one stop sing. It's hard to keep plugging out money. You're doing productions, and when you finish doing your productions, your music you ain't getting copyrights, you ain't getting paid copyrights, you ain't getting no proper payment in terms of for image rights or anything like that. So you're basically making whatever you make on stage. Back then we didn't have a industry to say, boy, well, it did kind of collapse after the genesis and the exodus of bands like Touch and Exodus, and when Winston, Soso, and Beckett them left the shows, albums weren't really selling in St. Vincent and the Grenadines from local artists. I remember back in the days I used to hear about Touch and them doing albums all the time, and they would get album sales and stuff like that. That did all collapse after a while. And I think that happened too because of the rise of the CD, where you could easily go on social platforms and YouTube and SoundCloud and get a song. You could just download it or rip it. So why would you buy the album when you could get it for free? So you spending money for productions, you ain't getting your rights, you ain't have no album sales, nothing. You're basically putting yourself in debt every year. You know what I mean? And then people still want to charge you to play what you produce it.
And they making money off of your product.
I'm making money. And
Yeah, yeah.
it's still going on because copyright is still not properly enforced and implemented in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're one of the only territories in the world, not in the Caribbean, in the world that still has this issue.
Yeah. And sometimes I get frustrated because a lot of Vincentian people like to compare the artists from St. Vincent to other islands, and they say, oh, they're singing this and they're singing that. But my argument is that we don't have an industry for the artists to make money. They have to use their pocket money from their family to do music for us. And then we don't go on YouTube, even go on YouTube and give the man some numbers, go on the radio station, call the radio station and say, play the man song. But we on social media criticizing. I think that's very unfair, man.
Well, everybody is entitled to the opinion. I myself have opinions. It has songs I rate, and it has songs, you know what I mean? I don't really, you know what I mean? But in my case, it has a lot more to do with quality and content. And I don't really, I see Vincy as a team. That's why I just say Countryside worldwide. My thing is St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Vincy, Countryside, that is my country's team, pushing that worldwide. So I don't really see the competition as in how people just be comparing artists and the local scene. So I understand comparing us to those regional entertainers, which and while that is what the competition actually is. Because when you go for IRAM and so forth, you're competing with your regional neighbors. You're not really competing with people here. When you go for the other awards out there, you're competing on a global scale. So that is actually a correct perspective to have, you know. But I think there's a lot more that can be done to foster proper, well-structured industry in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. For instance, being able to get paid, as simple as getting paid for your views on YouTube or your content on Facebook, that still doesn't happen in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You have to have an account from overseas because PayPal ain't set up, you know, for you to access funds like that. And many of the other services, we don't have access to them here either.
So let me ask the question: is that difficult to set up PayPal?
Well, to be honest, from what I understand, it would have to be done from a governmental perspective. The government has to get certain legislation in place and implemented, and they have to the financial institutions have to be regulated in a particular way in order for that to take place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. I don't know if most people would remember, but over the years we have been blacklisted a couple times, and you know, kind of blackballed as a money laundering territory, and you know, some shaky business when it comes to finances and the drug trade, you know. So we kind of got put in a category that it's hard to climb out of without the upper levels of the society, the government and those types of entities, the financial institutions, coming in line with international standards to facilitate that.
Oh, nice, nice. We need that, man. Especially a lot of we have a lot of streamers out there now, a lot of content creators out there. So we need that
Most
to
definitely.
boost the economy, man. Yeah, 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 yeah. So you the man. You was on the radio. You're an artist. When you think about Vincy, the whole industry, some changes you like to see, like things you like to see put in place overall for everybody to eat a food.
Um, First thing, I want people to stop watching it like that, like it's a eat of food vibes, and start looking at it as a business, as a true
Right,
business.
right.
Because it takes time, it takes resources, and there's a lot of logistics that goes into it. You know, if you're doing it properly and you're doing it professionally. Um, I would like to see the return of bands to our music, because when you're going to places like Europe, European promoters don't really book artists who don't have a band. And that is why you don't see, although you might see a lot of artists who we consider to be big here on the local scene and big in the Americas, you don't see them in Europe because they don't have a band. And they don't really book artists who don't have a band. So the band culture needs to come back, which facilitates growth. When you have a band playing, it is easier for artists to learn timing because you have to practice. So you'd have a lot less mishaps, people running off tune live, and not knowing when to cut and when to come in, when to and how to transition from song to song. The band culture teaches you those fundamentals naturally. Once you're in a band, and the band is a band that is functioning and practices, you will learn those things naturally. They will come like one, two, three. So the band culture is very important to get back. Um, in school, I would like to see music instituted as a serious subject because you could actually do music up until you get a PhD in music. You could get a master's, whether it's in engineering, the performing arts or whatever. You could specialize in music, but we still have music as a hobby. And that is something that needs to change because some of the richest people on the face of this earth are musicians, are artists, and they have made those millions of dollars from their craft. Some of them have other ventures that music helped them to gain the money to invest in to propel their wealth even further, like Rihanna and Dr. Dre with Beats, and Chameleonaire, who is now maybe a billionaire by now, who invested in tech and so forth. But they all got their start in music. But we still look at music as a pastime, something just for fun and show, and a seasonal thing. Meanwhile, there's people who don't do anything else but music, and they have some of the most comfortable lives. And if you look at it from a standpoint where we were saying we're tourism centered, everywhere on earth, basically, except for landlocked countries that don't have a shoreline, could offer you sun, sea, and sand. So the only thing that we could offer that is different is your culture. And music plays a big role in culture. If anybody doubts that, take music out of everything that there is in daily life and see what it looks like. There's music in film. There's music when you're traveling in transportation. There's music when you're on the phone line waiting on an operator to connect you to somebody. There's music in an elevator. There's music for ads. There's music. Music encompasses a lot of things, but we still have music as if it's insignificant, and that shouldn't be. Um, Copyrights too, getting the rights in properly regulated and instituted in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, so artists could get actual money for the craft, get paid their just deserves. That is something that needs to happen, and it needs to happen urgently. And it's not hard. It just takes the right political will and the legislation being drafted properly to do so, and then regulated based upon what is there constitutionally. Then setting up the PayPal and other collection mechanisms where artists could get paid from overseas for their craft and do business online, making that possible, facilitating that would go a major way. And then there are a lot of grants and so forth that are available, but artists don't know how to access them. They don't know how to write to get the opportunities that these entities like the European Union and so forth might offer. While other territories, they have had access to them for years, and they have done programs, training, being able to set up community studios and so forth to make it more easily accessible for artists to get work done. For years, we heard about creating a national studio or performing arts center, making it possible. Since 2010 or 2005, we hearing about that. It has yet to come to fruition, but I am hopeful because there's a new administration in office. So those are just a few things. There's many more, but you know what I mean. Those,
Yeah.
those, those for now.
I'm glad you mentioned some artists make money from music. Our very own Kevin Little. The
Mm-hmm.
prime example. He make a lot of money from music and still have one of the number one soca song in the world. Up to now, still one of the a lot of people do not understand this. Kept told me honestly, still one of the number one song in the world. Yeah.
One song could change your life. Look at Baha Men with Who Let the Dogs Out. One song could change your entire life. Entire life.
Even generation, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Generational wealth. Because for instance, what many people wouldn't realize is that Bob Marley's children are still living off of his earnings. Because 70,
Comfortable.
yeah, up to
Very
72 years after your death, your family still gets royalties off your music. Your rights are still preserved up to 72 years after. You're talking about 2, 3 generations down the line, would still be living comfortably. So what are
yeah.
we waiting for?
I know. So something big is happening in the music industry. AI. What are your thoughts on AI? Because it gonna change a lot of people's life. Not for the a lot of producers, writers
Mm.
gonna be in problems.
I think AI is a tool, and as all tools, they could be used for good and for bad. It's just a tool. It depends on how it is utilized. For instance, you might be humming a melody and you're not sure where to go and what the next chord should be or what chord would fit best next. There's AI that could help you with that. So it could help you to improve your skills. There's AI that could actually build a rhythm to a melody that you're singing. Where it becomes problematic now, and I don't think it could be so much of a great problem until robots learn how to perform, is that there will be a plethora of songs that are created using AI, and then the artists are not able to perform them live. That could become a problem, and you could end up seeing a lot of, and I don't think the AI is at the level whereby you can't tell it's AI. Still, you could listen and hear, but I could listen and hear, boy, this is an AI generated song. I could actually tell when it's an AI generated song because for right now they're using certain tones and certain instruments when they're trying to replicate certain songs because they're not quite familiar with the diversity of different genres, especially those from our region as yet. But with time, as we know, AI is one of the fastest learning systems on earth, so you never know what could take place. But for right now, it's a tool. It depends on how you use it. It just depends.
Yeah, but I think I for me personally, I think the next generation they ain't gonna care if it's AI or man make the songs, man. Because
Well,
these
we will
kids are
see.
different to us, right? Yeah, they're different, man. They're different.
Yeah, and I don't know, but there's something that hits different when you sing from the heart. Like you could tell when you could tell there's music that we call soulful music, and AI doesn't have a soul. There's songs that actually touch you on a deeper level, just the way how they are rendered, just the way how certain words are pronounced in the delivery of the song. Certain melodies are held and certain notes are, presented throughout the rendition. So I don't see that human element being adapted anytime soon or maybe never, but we'll see. We'll see.
All right, we don't have much time. So, um, Raga Soca, Power Soca. I know you was around when this thing happened, so give us a little history with the Raga and the Power. So, yeah, because a lot of people want to claim the Raga and the Power. So I know they say it invented Saint Vincent. So I know you was around that time. So give us a
Well,
little history.
I wasn't around them time, It was like Corty Banton and Fafa. Big up Fafa one time. And
Right.
Stonewash Daddy and those guys. Those guys were the first guys to actually dub on a soca song. And that's where Raga came from. The mixing of dancehall with soca or dub on soca rhythms. So from my understanding, that is where it originated. And if that's the origin, we are the owners of Raga Soca. We are the originators. We don't own it because we never registered it as a genre. And I think that is something that needs to be done also because in Grenada there's Jab Jab, in Dominica there's Buyan, Trinidad, and Trinidad now calling uh, and next side of slower jams, groovy soca. But we would have called a raga. You know what I mean? And I think it's kind of difficult now to differentiate what is what, because I even heard Bungie saying he's the raga soca king. You know what I mean? But what is raga? You know what I mean? In order to say, boy, this is a new genre, you gotta be able to define it. So it's either it uses particular instruments, the tempo, you have to know what the exact tempo range is, what are the instruments used, what classifies it differently from, another genre that might be close. It's like piano, and then you have Afro, and then you have other derivatives. So it's tricky, but we should register raga. We should. But then power soca, that is a term that I foresaw way back when I started coming into the business, coined by the great Zoe Stapleton. And I never heard about power soca until Zoe Stapleton from High Science Records said power soca. After that, it started catching on like wildfire. And I think one of the first rhythms that came out actually called power soca was the Flood Storm rhythm, which featured a track by Problem Child. Everybody get mad, 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 mad. That, and it featured I think Peter Ram was on it too, and a couple other regional artists. And that is where I remember the terminology actually started.
Nice, nice. So looking back to you now, why did you quit music?
No, I never fully quit music, I was
Okay,
always
why?
in the background writing. I was
Right.
writing and I was
Like,
producing. I learned how to produce along that time too. But I just all the foolishness with the payment and pay for play, and then on the political side of things, only certain artists were being pushed, and we could be honest about that. While Labour was in government in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, they I was approached. Let me give you it straight. I was approached by an operative of the Unity Labour Party, somebody who was a big party supporter, member of theirs, and was asked to perform for them during the 2005 election campaigns. But I had no interest in politics. I never was interested in politics. I'm not a political person by nature. That is just not me. But what ended up happening, excuse me, as a result of that conversation, it sparked my interest to say, boy, this is really what is be going on. Because what the operative said to me after I declined, and I didn't decline in a rude way, I just said I'm not interested, and I don't think there's a fit for me. The man said to me, say, you don't want to win a road match? You don't want to win Soca Monarch? I said, what do you mean? He said, you don't want to win road match now, Soca Monarch? I said, so why would I have to do with me performing for all you? Well, if you want to win and we in government, what do you think going on? I said, well, if
wow.
that is what I have to do to win, or you could keep the crown because I ain't interested. He said, well, yeah, your funeral.
Your funeral.
So basically from that, it put a bad taste in my mouth as an artist, because I don't think that should be any indication of whether you win. That should have no bearing on if you win or not. Whoever deserves it should win. You know what I mean? So I started to watch the industry different from then. And I started to see things that I may have been present all the time, but I was not cognizant of because I wasn't looking for it or paying attention to it. And then I started to see more and more of the nepotism and the favoritism, and it kind of started killing my love for music. So I had to just exit. I just had to just leave it alone, because it wasn't only that. Certain radio stations, as I said, wouldn't play you if you weren't with certain camps, or your music would get stifled. And even on the production side, certain producers wouldn't voice you because certain artists would tell them straight, if you're putting him on your rhythm, I ain't singing on your rhythm, or take my song off. That's how bad it was back then. And then they're not only doing that, they're paying for your music not to play. And then these same artists going to tell you there's the best, and there's the baddest, and the wickedest, and the craziest thing. But if you're so bad, then just do your thing and let people do theirs. You know what I mean? And just use your skills. Let your skills define if you're bad or not. But I just got fed up with it, man. It was becoming a circus and I ain't a clown, so I, I refuse to perform in that.
Yo, I could testify to that. Couple years back, I went to St. Vincent, so we wanted to do a show after Carnival. Was and brother to book an artist and a DJ in St. Vincent. It was very hard. Because the first thing they want to know who you align with. You understand? If he wasn't aligned with certain people, the artist them gonna tell you nah busy are flying out. I see the man in St. Vincent right there. The DJ is the same thing. I'm flying out, but they right in St. Vincent.
Politics, bro.
Yeah.
Some nasty, nasty politics. And I think it stunted our growth for quite some time. While places like Grenada got bigger in soca and their culture got pushed to the forefront. Because if you look at the early 2000s, like from 2003, 2004, 2002, even to like 2001 coming down, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Trinidad and Tobago were basically almost neck and neck. You know, Barbados was in the mix too. But Barbados were known for a sweeter vibe of soca. But when you're talking about Tay Down Place, Shell Down Place, it was Vincy and Trinidad, you know. And after the foolishness started, or it got to a point, a boiling point, and a lot of artists who were front runners at the time started to move away from the music or leave it alone. Because it wasn't just me, you know. Poser, DJ 20, Allergy, Gallane, and many others. They subsided from the industry. These are names that people could go and check for themselves. Check the records, check the songs from that time, and you would have seen these were some of the front runners at the time. And because they weren't particularly aligned to any camp, check these artists aligned to any camp or with any particular movement. You used to get targeted, your music used to get fight, your music used to get held down and held back. And it still continues now, because there's artists who release music every year and you don't hear the songs getting played. Still. And it's not no fault of the artist, or it's not that the music isn't good. It's just that you ain't licking boots, you ain't kissing buttocks, and you ain't aligning. And because of that, they decide you ain't supposed to be shining. It's ridiculous and foolish.
Yeah, yeah.
Kills the culture.
Yeah, man. And then the same show. So the day of this show, we went to pay the last money, right? We paid a deposit. We gonna pay all the money for the venue. So
Yeah.
everything was going nice. Then the person who was dealing with us got a phone call and everything changed. Everything changed, man. They want to know who you were, blah blah blah. Then they said they want $1,500 extra
Mm-hmm.
because they don't want anybody to be
Mm-hmm.
doing things. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a real. I want to say it because I want people to understand this is real. These things just happen. So when you see certain people don't do certain things in savings, and certain people doing certain things, you have to wonder why.
And what's funny about you saying that? Even when it comes to sponsorship from certain entities at a particular time, if you're not with a particular camp or particular group, nothing we're doing can get sponsored. And I remember a major business house in Vincy. Um, they had some old ads, some old ad campaigns running for years. Like since I small, they hearing the same ads over and over and over. It just became like background noise because everybody got so accustomed to hearing it. When it started to play it on and do something else, because you know what I mean, it's the same old, same old. So I made an approach to somebody who was in um their management at the time and said, I think now is an opportune time for y'all to revamp and do some new ad campaigns that are more up to the time and in line with what is happening now culturally and musically, so that you could rebrand and captivate the audience again and spread your message and tell them what you have new to offer. And they were like, we ain't really doing no ads, we ain't thinking nothing and re. About 5-6 months after, a particular camper artist ads, although they weren't doing any. You know what I mean? So it's that deep and it is that tribal at certain times. And I just shake my head because what I don't realize, you might align yourself to this artist and you're killing the artist over there. And then the artist over there come and surpass this artist. How are you going to come? We're going to see. It's just best you just live good because you never know who could be the next biggest thing. I remember at one point when Kevin had told me on, they did actually flush told me on a radio station, you know. Says garbage, you know. Flush it.
Yeah.
Flush it. On a morning program, flush it. We kind of shopping these days. Flush. Toilet flushing song and all kind of thing. And that, boom. 3 years later, biggest thing in the world. So it makes no sense. It's ignorance of the highest order, and it needs to stop. It needs to stop.
From my observation, because I pay a lot of attention to St. Vincent, so I spend a lot of time every day listening to different platforms in St. Vincent. I find a lot of people in position in St. Vincent do not know music. I gotta say straight up. A lot of people do, unless the song is a hit song, like to hear a song and build a song to a hit song, a lot of people don't have that air. You know, they just want the song come ready make number one. They don't want to take the time and nurture the song into a number one song. You know what I mean? So I think that's very lacking in St. Vincent from the DJs and the radio stations. I could say that honestly.
I know, you see, boy. I remember speaking.
You know what I said? I could say. You know.
I remember speaking to a veteran DJ, you know, who is around from in the time of Bishma and Reigate and you know what I mean, Touch Entertainment Center and thing. I's a rug rat, I's a real rug rat. I used to be all over the place as a youth man. You know, from they used to have the DJ competitions at Video About Tongue and stuff like that. On an annual basis with Dr. Who and them get a bus and you know, all that era with Bad B and all of them fellas. I used to be around as a youth man. I used to be around. So I was having the conversation with a veteran DJ and he said to me, anybody is an artist now. Just like anybody is a DJ. All there was a laptop and two program where you could chuck up two things and use a DJ now, use an artist now. And I said to him, why you would say that? He said, but you ain't see what's going on? They can't mix. They don't know how to blend. They don't know how to break a song into the market. They don't understand decorum and sense and sequence. They want to go in a wedding and play, hey, shall long the place, that kind of thing. They go in Queen show and turn over the place. They don't understand sense and sequence, but them is DJs. And
hold on. A little thing to just do. Like you go to a wedding and they blasting the music loud. People can't have a conversation. Little things that they don't understand. They'll keep the music down mellow. Like little things they don't understand.
So when he said it, I had to ask him to explain, but I understood it after a while because even when you look around sometimes too, DJing is a art, is a craft, and I think a lot of people see it as a eat of food. You know what I mean? Sad to say. Because, and this is something serious, I'm a person, right? I enjoy party. But I enjoy a party where I could experience a vibe that is unique and special. If I'm going to pay to go into a party, upwards of $70, $80, like $100, because mostly right now is brunch and all inclusive, right? Why would I want to hear the same music you play on the last brunch? In the same sequence you played on the brunch before that? With the same talk you drop on the brunch before that? Or all-inclusive before that? And, brother, I gotta tell you, it is real, you know, man. Them man have playlists, you know. Some of them, you know. And because of my honesty and me not subscribing to certain things, a lot of people wouldn't like me, but it is real, you know, and it shows a lack of passion and a lack of professionalism when it comes to certain things. Because if I'm booking you to provide a service and you're going to do that 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, it's best when you do it the first time I record and I just play me own. I just, I, I just, you know what I mean? And it's the
Yeah.
same for artists. Like, you're going to every show and you're carrying yourself in a particular type of way, and you're not being professional. You're going to people party and you're drunk before you hit the stage. You know, you're reaching late. You have specific time. They book you for a specific time, so you could perform at a specific time for a specific reason, to make the whole show a spectacle that is unique and different. But you come in when you feel like. No, this eater food thing has to stop. It is killing our culture.
Yeah.
And then you come into people's show anyhow you please. I mean, if your song calls a particular type of decorum, we understand. Like oh, come give me a little grease, Mr. Any water boots and re. You know what I mean? What, like how Poser perform Harry Bank. He come out, the woman strip him down, he look like he homeless. You understand? It calls for that. But you are telling me you go into people's show and you dress in any old raggedy hoe, and then you want to vex when you don't get bookings, or you want to vex when you can't get top dollar, because you come into people all-inclusive event where people spend hundreds of dollars and ladies don't spend thousands because they hair have to do, nails have to do, everything on fleek, eyelashes. And then you come, you understand? You come in an old rusty slippers, you just the up and down all over the place with. When you could do better. In some cases, they could do better. For those who can't do better, at least clean it off. You know, wipe it. You know what I mean? Present yourself proper. If you want people to take you serious, you have to take the business serious.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you said that, because you may not know, but I used to play Dynamic Guys when they found the members with ice skate and them back then, right?
Scene.
Come on, man. The foundation, you know.
Foundation. Legendary.
Yeah, so, when we go countryside, we used to play records. Countryside was a different kind of music. When we come back tongue, with a different vibes. When they go Leeward, it's a totally different vibes.
Totally different. Grenadines different too.
Hey, come on, man. Yeah, the first time we went Sandy Bay. Seriously. So, with the Sandy Bay, we thought still country, but Sandy Bay, they was listening to St. Lucia music. So they was radio stations. So they was up to date more than us. So we playing regular country music. Yo, what going here? Yo, they want the up to date music because they was listening to St. Lucia radio station. So there was that different vibes compared to the rest of the countryside. So that different vibes. So you have to know these things.
Yeah. And I think too, what has end up happening is that back in the days, y'all was students of the music. I see myself as a student of the music. I never stop learning. I don't ever stop learning. And I try to learn as much as possible. And I don't really watch movies. Anybody who knows me could tell you, I spend more times looking at documentaries and watching live performances than anything else. So what ends up happening is, from your generation, what ended up happening, y'all knew the music intrinsically. Y'all could tell what one drop would mix with what R&B or soul tune, because y'all, even before y'all had things like Serato and Record Box and Virtual DJ to tell all you what key the song is in and what note, so y'all could know, oh, this could mix good with that. Y'all knew it by heart because y'all was students of the music, and y'all used to experiment with the music and play with the music and actually do live remixing and stuff like that. Y'all learn it from the basics. Y'all have to learn to scratch without breaking needle. You understand?
There's no needle to buy. Can't find needle in the same to buy.
And y'all have to learn to match beats without syncing, because it didn't have no sync. You press sync and the BPM them automatically match, and you just, even though it goes sound like Chipmunk when some of them mixing.
I know. Yo,
you know, so the fundamentals.
Yeah. Me got history with ice skate, because my ice skate is who work together and when he win all the DJ competition.
Yeah.
right? So people don't understand. We used to have like 50 that competition. The first set, 50 minutes.
Yeah.
The last, and go to the finals in like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Brother, we used to take a month to get
To
prepared for
practice.
that. A month, from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock every 5 days a week. 5 days a week, a whole month. The first 2 weeks experimenting. The last 2 weeks putting things together and get it perfect. You understand? So when I want to see ice skate go and take off your t-shirt, it's a
It
month,
is
brother.
spontaneous. All that unplanned.
That don't plan. It's a
And
month.
practice. So
Hours. We talk about hours and hours and hours every day.
so
Yeah,
what
man.
was saying that to say is the difference between your generation and this generation is y'all had a wider, in my opinion, a wider portfolio of music. Y'all used to dabble in a lot of different songs and a lot of different genres. Now, it is basically soca, dancehall. You don't even hear reggae so much in dance again down here, You might hear one or two pop according to who the DJs. But that is far and few in between. You might hear some hip hop too. You just hear hip hop. But what ends up happening is everybody is playing from such a small pool of music. Is that if you go to a dance and you stay from the time the dance starts till the dance over, there's about 30 tunes you will hear all night long. Like no other music don't exist on the planet. Like there are no classics before that. There was no big tune before that. And that is yo, for somebody like me who loves music, after about the first maybe 2, 3 set of crews pass through, if the next set who come in to go and be doing that, I ready to leave, bro.
I know. Well, Mr. I can. We don't have much time.
Yeah.
We gotta bring you back to talk things. We don't have much time to that because you have things to do. So I have something to show you. I'll share something to show you. I must have goodies.
I hear you.
You're on slim. Take out your flags, them. Your flags. I said I wanna see your run, them. You're on slim. Take out your. Everybody put them up in the air. Where it's stupid. What is carnival? I said we wave it. Stupid. Rootry. Yo. When carnival break away, I'm in love with an SUJ. Come up to the shake out. The woman I get taken out. When coming inside this foot. Everybody knows. Right on in the air. Wave it. Andrew. Bounce it low.
So, brother, how was that experience after so many years? How was that experience?
Man, it just felt like coming back home, to be honest, you know what I mean? I never lost the love for it, and I thank God for that part, you know what I mean? But it was nice. It was a nice vibe. It was a nice vibe.
All right, so we have like 10 minutes because you have to do things. 2026, what can we expect from Mr. Icon for 2026 Carnival?
Well, I'm doing music for sure. You know, I already have one out, Sugar. And I'm doing music with purpose and meaning. I'm not just doing music to just say, oh, I'm putting out something. Every song has a story and a reason for it, and there's an intention. We're doing intentional music, and it's being done this way because we realize that a lot of the music that has been coming out over the years, you hear them in the season, and after the season, that is it. The shelf life is very short for a lot of music, and that is something that didn't exist when I was actively doing music. A lot of the music used to live on. For instance, that same song that I performed there at the opening of Carnival, that song came out in 2004. That song is over 20 something years old, and when you go to parties now, if that song plays, the atmosphere changes and you get the same type of energy. And that is generational. And I can't tell you much songs that achieve that except for classics. And when I say much songs that achieve that except for classics, I'm speaking about songs that came out before 2010. after 2010, there are not many songs that have that type of effect. And we want to change the narrative and give people some classic anthems again. Like the I Don't Mind, you know what I mean? From So and Black Sugar Woman from Touch. These songs will never die. You know, Small Pin from Beckett. Them songs is generational songs. Songs that if you hear them today, tomorrow, you get the same type of vibe.
Yeah, yeah. So we have this song for 2026. So give us a little thing about this song now, like who produces and the whole concept of this song before I play it.
All right, so the first release of 2026 is Sugar. And this song was done specifically for the ladies. And the reason why that song came about was a dream. I actually had a dream and I woke up singing the song the next morning. And I couldn't get it out of my head. So I had to sit down and actually write. And I basically wrote the entire song before I left for work the morning. And on my way to work, I shout Adrian. I say, Adrian, I have it, you know? I have it. And he was like, what do you mean? I say, I have this song. Because we were discussing a couple things. All even through the end of last year. Like the way how the music has changed. You know, there's a lot of people calling women out of the name in the music now. Calling women all kind of derogatory names and making all kind of derogatory statements. Using the music as a medium to belittle ladies and kind of strip them of their value now as queens, as mothers, as, you know, empresses and people who we actually love, care about, and desire on a higher level, not just physical alone. But we need them. We need them. There is no world without women. But we want to treat them as second-class citizens musically? No. So I wanted to change the narrative. And I told Adrian about the song. But busy with work and Adrian up there, I down here, you know, time passed. And then it wasn't the season. And that's something we're trying to change too. Instead of doing music just because there's a season, we want to do music year round and just release when we feel like, you know, and keep the vibe going. So eventually, Adrian came home just a couple of weeks ago, about 2-3 weeks ago. And when he came, he shouted me and he said, I hear you. I said, what do you mean? He said, Vincy. He said, when you could come? I said, you tell me when to come. And he told me, well, tomorrow, 4 o'clock, if you could make it. I said, well, I don't work for, I could reach for 5. He said, all right, link me. So went through by the studio. He put on the mic, sing down the song, started building the rhythm right away. While we were there, Norman Roberts, who you would know, was brought to you by the studio with Kitten and with vibes, and Kitten heard the song. Kitten said you come back the night later. He played some guitars on it. Adrian kept the song. He went back up. He was playing around with it. He sent me a couple drafts. I said, boy, Adrian, I think we should go live with this song, you know, like mostly live instruments and get back that classic feel, that classic vibe. And he said, all right, we could try it. He said, what you saying? I said, well, I got like some live drums. He said, well, I go get David to do that. So he checked David, you know what I mean? And David organized, send down some drums. Back again, another draft, hear it again. Say, boy, Adrian, I really feeling some live guitars, you know. He said, well, so what you want to do? I said, well, we could check, well, bass, live bass, actually. I said, well, we could check Anthony, see what Anthony saying. He said, yeah, I could check Anthony. Well, message him and see what he's saying now. Message Anthony, in game right away. Anthony busy and thing. When Anthony hit me back, he said, well, we're waiting for you. Should have done send it. Send it to Anthony. Anthony played the bass, send it back to Adrian. I didn't even know. I get a draft come to my phone. I say, what? I say, Adrian, this nice boy. Adrian say, yeah, nice. But Anthony say, you want to do something else. That time now, we trying to release this song since last week, you know. But everybody, you know, liking the vibes and they getting different ideas as time passes and they want to do things. And, yo, it just became a beautiful masterpiece. In my opinion, it's one of the sweetest ragas I have ever done and ever had the opportunity to work on. I did my vocals here by myself, you know, and send them to Adrian. But when I heard what was sent back in terms of all the instrumentation together, the final, I had to recut my vocals, boy. I said, nah, this guy song so sweet and I just singing it regular, boy. And that's how Sugar came about.
Hold on.
Baby girl, you good like gold.
where you go. Oh, you glow in your bed. My breath, I cannot refrain
from craving it again. Your beauty's off the chain, or it can't be tamed.
Brand new music, man.
That any
I can John.
I wanna know your
your
name.
name.
Baby girl, you good like gold.
You man, see this one for all the beautiful ladies out there.
Girl, no matter where you go.
Oh, you glow. Oh,
Sweetness in your hands.
can you leave my breath?
I
I
cannot
cannot
refrain
refrain
from craving it
from
again.
again.
Your beauty's off the chain.
Or I can't be there.
Hotter than any
Any
flame.
flame.
Every man wanna know your name, sugar.
Ah,
Baby girl, you good
good
like
like
gold. Sweet like honey from the
oh,
cold.
oh,
Girl, no matter where you go, you go.
oh,
You sweet, sweet baby, sugar darling, my
my
lady,
lady,
sweet
sweet
from
from
morning.
morning.
DJ Fit,
Yeah, man.
you good like gold.
Ladies.
Where you go, you've got that sweetness
It's
in
in
your
your
hands.
bed. Simple is my bed. I cannot refrain
from
from
craving
craving
it
it
again.
again.
Your
Your
beauty's
beauty,
off the chain.
or a time is left. I not that any them. Everyone wanna know your name. Sugar, sugar,
Baby girl, you good like gold.
sugar,
Honey from the cold.
sugar.
Yeah,
No matter where you go, you
Oh,
you sweet, sweet
baby,
baby, sugar darling,
my
my
lady,
lady,
sweet
sweet
from
from
morning.
sweet
Sweet
baby,
baby, sugar
darling.
darling.
So
So
sweet,
sweet,
it's a treat to greet
treat
you
you
on the
on the
street.
oh,
Going to
to
your
your
beat,
feet.
and lick that and unique.
That's so nice of me. Walking masterpiece.
Real talk, no tongue in cheek.
It's
you
you all
I'm
man
gonna
and
seek
sweet
sugar.
sugar. Sugar,
Baby
baby
girl, you
girl,
good
good
like
like
gold.
gold.
Sweet
Sugar,
like honey from the
oh,
cold.
girl,
Girl, no
no
matter
matter
where
where
you
you
go,
go,
you
you
go.
go.
You sweet,
Sweet,
sweet
sweet
baby,
baby,
sugar
sugar
darling,
darling.
my
My
lady,
lady,
sweet
sweet
from
from
morning,
morning.
sweet baby,
Ah,
sugar darling, my lady. Girl, I'm
girl, I'm
telling you
telling you
straight
straight
up,
up,
you're beautiful with
beautiful
no
with no
makeup.
from the moment you wake up. Yeah, bro.
Yo, give the ladies a little acapella before you go. Give the ladies a little acapella when they hear the thing, no man. Give them some vocals. Give them some vocals before you go. I like no vocals.
Ladies, always remember this. Regardless to where you are or who you're with or whatever the occasion is, you are a queen and you're here for a purpose. You are and will always remain the caretakers, the ones who scope everything and mold it into something more precious. You give a woman anything and she'll give you back something that is much more precious in return. She will take that and multiply it. So I just want the ladies to know that even in your down times, you're still somebody who we have to look up to and will always respect. There's no humanity without women. None. All of us came through a woman. So we always have to give you all your respect. And even if you feel like you're not getting it, know that you're loved. Know that you're cherished. You've got that sweetness in your veins. Stimulates my brain. I cannot refrain from craving it again. Your beauty's off the chain, or I can't be tamed. hotter than any flame. Every man wanna know your name, sugar, sugar. Baby girl, you good like gold, sugar, sweet like honey from the comb. Girl, no matter where you go, you glow, you sweet, sweet baby, sugar darling, my lady, you sweet from morning, sweet baby, sugar darling, sugar.
Big up, Ike. Honestly, why I was so excited. I was like, yo, man. You never disappoint, man. You never disappoint. I know you had things to do. Yeah,
Yeah,
brother.
bro.
After the season, maybe during the season, we're gonna link up. We're gonna link up.
Well, definitely. More than likely next week I'll be sending something to you
So we gonna link.
musically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're gonna link
man.
up. We're gonna link up. Yeah.
So enough respect. Oh, and big up to everybody in Vincy. Tonight is the launching for many carnivals, but tonight East St. George Calico Carnival, we outside. You see,
Yo,
we
outside.
outside. Big
Alright,
up
brother,
to the
thanks.
Vincy Lime crew, man. Enough respect, love and
Alright,
manners.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Blessings.
Stay up,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Give
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah.
Baby girl, you good like gold. Girl, no matter where you go.
You've got that sweetness in your hands, stimulates my brain. I cannot refrain from craving it again. Your beauty's off the chain, or a cavity, hotter than any flame. Every man wanna know your name, sugar. Baby girl, you good like gold, sweet like honey from the comb. And no matter where you go, you sweet, sweet baby, sugar darling, my lady, sweet from morning, sweet baby, sugar darling. So sweet girl, it's a treat to greet you on the street, going to your beat, elegant and unique. That's so nice and neat, walking masterpiece, real talk, no tongue in cheek. It's you all man I seek, sugar. Baby girl, you good like gold.
Yeah, man, big up Icon. He has things to do and he still make time for us for tonight, right? So big up Icon one time. So much time we in touch, man.
No matter where you go.
You've got that sweetness in your hands, stimulates my brain. I cannot refrain from craving it again. Your beauty's off the chain, or a cavity, hotter than any flame. Every man wanna know your name, sugar. Baby girl, you good like gold, sweet like honey from the comb. Girl, no matter where you go, you glow, you sweet, sweet baby, sugar darling, my lady, sweet from morning, sweet baby, sugar darling. So sweet girl, it's a treat to greet you on the street, going to your beat, elegant and unique. That's so nice and neat, walking masterpiece, real talk, no tongue in cheek. It's you all man I seek, sugar. Baby girl, you good like.
All I realize when the man say he doing music with purpose. He not singing anything. He doing music with a purpose, man. So big up Gary, Icon, John. One of my favorite person to talk to, man. He young but he very talented.
Girl,
And don't forget next weekend. We have a next big interview for all the next weekend.
Sweetness in your hands, stimulates my brain. I cannot refrain from breathing it again. Your beauty's off the chain, or a cavity, hotter than any flame. Every man wanna know your name, sugar. Baby girl, you good like gold, sweet like honey from the cold. Girl, no matter where you go, you sweet, sweet baby. Sugar darling, my lady, sweet from morning, sweet baby, sugar darling. So sweet girl, it's a treat to greet you on the street, going to your beat, elegant and unique. Blood so nice to meet, walking masterpiece, real talk, no tongue in cheek. It's you and man I seek, sugar. Baby girl, you good like gold, sweet like honey from the cold. Girl, no matter where you go,
If I connect,
you sweet, sweet, sweet baby, sugar darling, my lady, sweet from morning, sweet baby, sugar darling, my lady. Girl, I'm telling you straight up, you're beautiful with no makeup. From the moment you wake up, beauty queen brought the take up. Forever sweet is your status, even when it might hate us. On your level they hate us, and that you said them ain't touch no makeup. So come tick a little, tack a little, roll waist, time push back a little, time pan time and rock a little. You're full of skills and style, just drop a little, tick a little, tack a little, roll waist, time push back a little, time pan time and rock a little. You're full of skills and style, baby. Girl, you know you good like gold, sweet like honey from the gold. Girl, no matter where you go, sweet, sweet, oh baby, sweet, sweet, my darling, sugar baby, from London, oh baby, sweet darling, sugar baby, from London. God, this one's dedicated to all the ladies who are naturally beautiful from morning, inside and out, no matter where you go or who you're with, you're always starring. So sweet, baby, sugar, sugar, sugar.
so ladies, all you can say, all you don't have no song for all you. The man say a whole song for all you, make all in all you sweet. Yeah, man. So big up Icon one time, man. Yes, yes, yes. This year we get some nice quality music out of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Yes, Mr. Winston there. If they market the thing good and the DJs and push the thing, yeah, man, it's a big song, man. So I hear some really, really nice songs on the same so far, and plenty music still to come, man. One of my favorite, I like this one here too.